Hi, welcome to my channel.
Hey, Uncle Kenny! Football! Hey, yeah!
If you're new here, my name is Cedric. I'm an actor, a filmmaker, a screenwriter, and a YouTube reactor. And these videos are going to be a little bit different. These are all, this is going to be a series of 4 music videos that I'm releasing in quick succession here, analyses of music videos. And they're all videos that I've already seen. These are live reactions that I did a few months ago. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking the live reaction and I'm reanalyzing the music video alongside it to catch what I might have missed. Because when I'm doing a live video, I'm not quite as, I just can't focus quite as much as I do when I'm doing it, you know, in studio, so to speak. So I'm excited to see what I missed to add on to what I said the first time. I'm more familiar with the songs now, so kind of digging more into the cinematography and the style of shooting and just adding on top of that so that you can all enjoy it more. And I'm obviously very excited about the new album coming out, so hopefully this is a nice way to celebrate that together. And then get to some new BTS content soon after that, some more dance rehearsals, some more music videos, you know, everything. Before we do that, of course, I want to say thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate it. I've been acting like a lot lately, and now it's time to really hammer home some screenplays before I start rehearsals for Pippin. So it's a lot going on, and then I got to move back to Philadelphia, so you guys are going to have to say goodbye to this office soon. Sorry, I'm going to miss it too. I'm going to miss a lot of stuff about Rhode Island. But let's jump in. Here we go. This is Dope by BTS. Big hit. Entertainment. Again, I'm going to try to stay out of the way of the screen, but
어서 와. 방탄은 처음이지?
I'm going to say yes just for fun.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Nice.
준비가 됐다면 부르게 딴 녀석들과는 다르게 내 스타일로 내 스타일로 밤새 일했지 않은데 네가 클럽에 쏘는데 잘 몰랐지 말고 들었네 I gotta feel 난좀 짜라.
Okay. Yeah, so the choreography here is obviously incredible. I think that's a big part of why this song is so successful. That was really, really good. I actually want to take it back and rewatch the chorus. But part of what I want you to know is, number one, the way they change color temperatures throughout this. So it starts pretty warm colored when RM is there and he kind of doffs his cap and asks if we're new to BTS. And I said yes, even though I'm not, so I'm a liar. Sorry about that, RM. But then we pushed through, I think it was V that came in through the back. That was Jungkook, you idiot. Go on. And again, it's a quick shot of energy, the way they cut in. And then we see Jimin sitting here surrounded by file folders. This idea that they've been working really hard. Also presents this idea of maturity. I have a feeling that when Jungkook crossed the camera there, that's one of their first hidden cuts in this. So this is a really brilliantly shot music video. They hide a lot of cuts in this. You're not going to do all this in one take. That's absurd. 1917 is shot to look like just 2 takes. It's like a 2.5-hour movie. It took them like 6 months to film it. Like, you're gonna hide cuts. So it's all about doing that cleverly. And a lot of the ways you can do that is by having something cross the screen. So for example, if I use my hand, I know I've done this before, but for those of you that are new here, I could cut in a new shot just like that. And then cut it back just like that. So it's just a matter of hiding the cuts, and it's clever and it's easy to do that. Now also, I think on this one, maybe they didn't do that because this is an actual constructed set, and I think they've got a programmed like robot arm that's running. I don't think this isn't like a manual camera op, I wouldn't assume. I think this is all pretty tightly programmed, but there are gonna be cuts that are hidden in this. The other thing I wanna point out here is the clever way of hiding lights. So one of the key things with lighting is, of course, you want to light your subject. You want to make sure that they're seen. And on this set, I have a feeling that they have just a ceiling softbox that's kind of soft lighting everybody in the frame. But also, you have to keep the background interesting. You have to keep things happening back there. So looking at where Jimin is sitting here, all the lights that are behind him, we've got some on the shelves that are hidden behind papers. We've got one down between the I guess it's a printer, and the filing cabinet that's just kind of keeping everything visual and interesting, and it helps the subject stand out because it's not just like darkness, it's still visually interesting, and then everything's pulling the eyes to our subject anyway because the camera's moving. So the other thing that those lights do is it anchors the background as the camera moves. So it helps see our subject move more as the focus of the shot. So there's some really nice lighting that's happening there. It's all cool tone light. It's all white light so far. It's the same thing as when Jungkook was coming down the hallway. We could see it kind of pouring down on his head, but we actually didn't see it when RM leaned into the camera. So it's interesting to note that. So on the chorus, I would guess that there are 2 takes that are being composited together here. I think that there's a closer up take and then a wider one on sort of a crane mechanized arm, but I could be wrong about this because obviously they're shooting in 4K, it might be 6K. So what that would give them the ability to do is to do these quick punch-ins. It's basically a zoom, and they're not going to lose any quality. You know, like my webcam right now is in 1080p. And weirdly enough, that video that you guys are watching of my live video, the webcam's in 1080p, but the video maxed out at 720p, which is why it looks a little bit more grainy than what you're watching right now, which is shot in HD. But if I punched in, you'd see all sort of pixels. You're not seeing that there. And so the fact that I don't know means that it's pretty well edited, but the way that it's cutting on certain beats in the music, it's a habit of K-pop music videos. It's certainly a thing BTS uses quite effectively in all of their things to eject energy. But look at the way it hypes up their dance moves and also illustrates the sharpness of it. Because they're coming from a slightly higher angle, you can't hide any aspects of the dance from that point, because we can see their whole body engaged literally from their feet to the tops of their head. We can see every single movement that they're doing, and we can see all of them in the space. We can see their shadows on the ground. It's a whole image of how specific this dance is, and it's very, very effectively done. I still don't actually know whether or not this is 2 shots. I still have a feeling that it was, just because of how much they zoom in and how much they punch in. I think most of that is done in post. I think that's how they're kind of landing on that. But when we're talking about these mechanized arms that are doing some of these camera movements, BTS has like the highest level of that. And they aren't really used all that often in narrative film, because narrative filmmaking, like what I usually engage in, where this is a plot, it's a movie, you just don't use that style as much unless it's a heavy stylized like action or kung fu movie, something like that. You're gonna have a little bit more of that, but you know, if it's a drama, we're not gonna use this style of movement. So it's not something I'm super familiar with, which is why it's a little bit out of my area of expertise. I just haven't been around it as much, but it is really cool to see how they use it. I've talked about it before in their music videos. It's amazing to see how much energy that adds to every shot, to all the dance moves, and their choreography is impeccable. It's really good. It's high energy, but the camera move is helping to sell the movements themselves. So it's taking what BTS is doing and then just enhancing it for you as a viewer to help you kind of lean into what you're watching. So when you watch a dance rehearsal, you'll notice that it feels different than when you're watching the music video. That's because when we're capturing things on film, it's meant to function as a marriage of styles and of visuals. We're gonna go back. Look at the feet movement here. Obviously, I'm watching Jimin because he's front and center, and also I'm deeply in love with him. But watch the feet. This is wild. It's so quick, and it's really just a matter of turning your ankle, stepping forward, stepping back. But because it's done with such precision and with such big arm movements, it looks like this huge, massive move, but it's really a move about distinct precision. The other thing I want you to pay attention to is the fluorescence above them. Notice how it's not actually changing the lighting on their face. So they've definitely got like a light beamed straight at them, probably through diffusion because you can't see much of their shadows. So those lights flickering on are just a visual effect, and you can see them go on and off reflected on the floor as well. So there's so many things happening all at once to engage your energy as the saxophone comes in, as the beat really starts hitting during this chorus. Look at that, that's so good. Nice. I want to talk about J-Hope. J-Hope and I are built very differently. I'm 5'11", 205, and he's like got no bones, right? So if I'm trying to move, like I can kind of bounce and go with it, but the way that he can like just flow with his body and move is, I mean, you can just tell that he's a dancer, right? And I'm a dancer. I trained in dance, but I'm much more of the kind of power structured choreography. So I'm more like, I studied jazz. I did study contemporary dance and like lyrical kind of thing, but I'm much more of like the sharp kind of movements. He has this ability to like, I guess it's almost like pop tap dancing. So when you're tapping, you're often like, your arms aren't choreographed. So you're just kind of throwing them around with it because it amplifies the full motion. I don't know if he studied tap, but he's taking that principle and applying it to everything. So his whole body is engaged with this massive movement. And because he's kind of lanky, he's longer, he's a little bit more flowy just in his full structure. Like me, I'm not. I'm more compact. For him, he's got long legs, he's got long arms, and they just flow so well that he knows how to use that to just make a huge movement. And the way he uses it here to come in with power, now again, I'm more of a powerful structure than he is, but the way that he uses his body to convey power is incredible to watch. So just look at that section again. Just the way he comes in is so filled with strength. It's really cool to watch. And then Suga comes in, you know, we got J-Hope in like a racing uniform. Suga comes in and pushes him out in this military style uniform. So again, we're transitioning between costumes, between personalities, between playing dress up and having fun with it. They're joking around and pushing each other, but that's also a moment of conveying the transfer of power. So J-Hope comes in powerful, taking the moment, taking your energy, taking your eyesight, and then Suga pushes and goes, this is my stage now, and takes that over on a more mature costume. So again, look at the way that they're doing this to kind of break down our own presuppositions about them as artists and as people. And now we're in a jail cell wearing, you know, a suit jacket with a bow tie and shorts. They're playing with different styles of saying like, yeah, we get it. People are going to see us as young, but look at this. Also with, you know, Suga coming in dressed in the more military style outfit, there's a precision to the way that he raps. There's a very specific beat that he tends to follow, which is very satisfying to hear, but it's sort of reflecting who they are. With J-Hope coming in, J-Hope's movements are always so big. It's like, I remember I sent a video of Jungkook once to my twin sister, and her response was, it's like he has no bones. Well, almost the opposite is true of J-Hope. He clearly has this incredible structure to him, but his ability to manipulate his body is wild. So he can, because he's so long, he flows so naturally that he can make everything seem really big. An arm going out is huge with him. So when you watch him doing that, it's incredible to see. The thing I didn't notice, or I don't know if I didn't notice it or I didn't say it there, but I definitely noticed it this time, is I kind of hit on Suga's very precise style of rapping. So especially like Teshita, which is my favorite rap song and which I reacted to as a Christmas present to everybody last year because it was so requested. It's rapid fire. And there's a general satisfaction to that. J-Hope is less precise with his. His is more based on this kind of rip-roaring emotion to it. So when he comes in, it's more like, like it's almost got a revved up feeling. So this race car style thing works for him because he's kind of got this rev. He's got more of an acceleration, deceleration to the way that he approaches everything. I think his has a little bit more, I don't want to say raw emotion. I think he's just a little bit more loose with his structure, with the way that he's going to approach everything than Suga, who's very, very precise. And both are fantastic, and they work in tandem really well together. But look at the way they're matching those styles with the choreography and with their costumes and with the lighting, where with J-Hope, it was much more large, you know, kind of flat. And then with Suga, it was much more precise lighting, much more closed off. And then they did hide a nice cut when we panned over here to the jail cell. You can see it. They just hit it, you know, right there. I'm assuming that some of this was green screen. I don't think that the brick walls that we passed were real. It's well hidden. It's well done. Okay. Oh, this is so good. I feel like I'm like fresh army again here. This is so good. Guys, it is so good. I've listened to this song so many times and I forgot how good the dance was because I've only seen it when I did this and then when I watched a lot, like I went to the movie theaters and saw their concert in Seoul in theaters. That's the only 2 times I've seen this, so I forgot how good this dance was. I can't wait to do this dance rehearsal. It is so good, you guys. And one of the best parts is, one of the easiest moves is when they go da, da, da. But because everything is so complex leading up to that, the simplicity of that move sells everything. It makes it so good. It's so good. Look at the way their movements are so, you know, if their movement is something like, it's not. But if their movement is like a quick movement like that, then they go da 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 da. It's quick followed by slow and controlled. And everything is controlled. But because they're doing these really quick, precise movements and then following it with something slow, and you can watch the camera does a zoom in on the slow parts and then cuts back or something like that. There's a cohesion to the energy of the choreography with the editing, with the cinematography that everybody's all in on. And the lights are moving on certain moments, they're changing positions on certain moments, so there's always new pictures to look at, there's always new energies that they're bringing into the space. It always kind of, this one has a much more hard driving beat, and so it's more hip-hop style versus some of the more ballet style that we've seen before, or some of the more lyrical style like with Black Swan, which I think is just brilliant. He was in an elevator that kind of looked initially like a prison cell, and I wondered if it was green screen behind him, because it did look a little bit like it could be green screen. I also wondered if, and this is super possible, that they just had rolling brick fabric behind him, and so on a certain moment they just flip a switch and it literally rolls past, like what you see in car scenes. So you'll see like people driving, they're not actually out driving. That's much more dangerous, and that's why actors, you'll always see them like, they're supposed to be driving a car, right? And they'll be like, well, you know, I was thinking about Pap earlier and I don't know how he's doing, I'm worried about his health, you know, and they're like not looking at the road. It's because they're not actually driving. So sometimes they'll use green screen, but other times they literally have just images on a cycle behind them. You might notice if you watch carefully, the same car passes them, or the same tree, or the same rock, or whatever. If you look, you can notice when they're repeating the same image because it's literally on a cycle.
Gotta make it.
See, look at that. That's so good. That's so good. See, the interesting thing, sorry to pause again, but about this choreography, I know we're only halfway through the song, but you see like the moves where they're like da 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 da, and then they do something else, and then they switch to like, you know, hands or something. They're doing this da 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 da. That's the repeated movement. I bet they're doing it here, da 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 da, or something like that. And that repeated movement gives us, as a viewer, sort of an anchor. That's sort of the thing we come back to. It helps us feel like we're a part of it because we kind of do it with them, and then they do something else, and then we're da 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 da. There's that familiarity, that anchor piece, and it also helps them remember what the next move is because it's all the same thing, but they're doing it in different positions. They lean forward, their head does it. It's so good, and I love this bridge that happens here. I can't wait to see this live. This cut is so good. The zoom's there.
3포 세대 5포 세대 그럼 난 6포가 좋으니까
Nice.
6포 세대 언론과 어른들의 의지가 없다면 우리 쌍초식처럼 배려해 해보기도 전에 죽여 enemy 벌써부터 고개 숙여 받아 energy 절대만 포기 you know you're not only no one is 새벽은 나보다 예뻐 Can I get a little bit of hope? 잠들 턱소리 get walk go 밤새 일은
Yeah, I definitely think that RM was performing in front of a green screen there, and then the others were composited in behind him. There's a little bit more light hitting his face than what's hitting the guys behind him. It's a little bit hot, like right here, but you don't see that same light on all their other faces. Which, again, if you're not looking for that, you're probably not going to see it. It's really well done, and the energy is still there. The ability for him to drop out and have Suga behind him, all of them hiding, coming in and out behind him. Great way to inject energy. I love the way they led into that with just the quick beats with all of them kind of dropping and letting RM pop up. The other cool thing here is that they have switched again from cool temperatures to warm temperatures. So because they have that little bit of gold on their black jackets, and the back wall's orange, it's just constantly giving us something new to see while still making it feel like it's all been one shot, and it's really nice.
Love the addition of the blue here. Yeah. Dutch angle. Nice. Good. See, this is what I'm talking about. When you see their feet going around in the circle, which is a move they've used before and it never fails, I love that move. The feet kind of crossing over. You've done like, oh, what are they called?
Grapevine.
Gosh. It's like it's a warm-up thing where you...
Grapevine.
I forget what they're called.
Grapevine.
But you cross feet over each other. It's just that in a little circle. But it's a big movement because they all sell it. They all lean with it. You think tap dance, right? Tap dancing is all on the feet, but a tap dancer it doesn't quite work if the tap dancer is very stiff, perfect posture up here. But if they're kind of flowing with it as they tap, as they go, all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is brilliant. This is so watchable. I can't stop watching this.
I'm not original.
Well, the same is true here. So they're doing this big movement, and then they do the slow movement like a clock ticking on that 4 beat that we talked about before. It's things like that. It keeps it diverse. It keeps it interesting. It keeps you on edge because you don't know what the next move of the choreography is, but you know it's going to match. And it pops from big to small. It's really, really well done. Gosh, I can't remember what it is.
Grapevine.
Here, I'm just going to... I don't know. You won't be able to see my feet. It's... I'm going to remember it like at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to sit straight up.
It's called a grapevine.
And it's going to be right there. I want to say like vineyards, but that's definitely not what it's called because they weren't telling us about vineyards.
You know what's in a vineyard? A grapevine.
It's not important. It's not important. Can't wait to hear that live. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just real quick on the production notes here. They've been doing a lot with lighting. You can see the blue sticks in the background there from when they were all dancing and they had the blue key light that was filling in the back of their heads. Here, it's a diffused softbox that's coming from above them, which is what's casting these shadows. It's coming from this side. It's coming from the left. So it's kind of filling them right here, but I'm amazed because they've just got this softbox put at the perfect level that it's killing all those shadows. But the shadows on the ground are what fascinate me because I can't quite tell where this other light is. You know, maybe what they actually have is a big bounce card. I think that's it. So they've got this really big bounce. I'm going to get this thing out again. Hang on. One of these, which I've used lately in videos. They've got a massive one, like the size of this room. And it's a bounce card. So it could be silver, where it's reflecting light back toward me. You can see the way that reflects light. But what I actually think it is this. So what it's doing is it's filling light on the side. So it's just adding this, and because they're using the softbox, and maybe they even have a larger light shooting down on it to bounce, that's why you're not seeing shadows. So I bet that's what it is. And it's giving them this really nice soft fall off right here. And then you can see a little bit more contrast on the left side of their faces, which is how I know that there's gotta be something coming from that side. Because if you look at Jin right here, all the way over to the right, he does not have extra light hitting him here, which he theoretically should. So they've got a light source coming from this side. But what's great about it is that's now, where am I going to put this? That's now going to make this shot much more interesting. It's completely different than what it's been. They've been in these close quarters, highly designed places. Well, now they've cut to something minimalistic when they're saying we're not like those other people. They're showing that they can do multiple things in one video, and now the focus is no longer on set pieces, on big things. It's on them dancing, and you have to watch. And there's, you know, ladders, the idea of climbing ahead. This is great. Oh, I love that move. Oh, that was so good. I love the move where they just walked over because you could see Look how much character they put in this move when they just when they walk over. See how cool that was? Nice. Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, that was great. I love that. That is immediately like has to be on my new workout playlist. I'm very excited about this.
Dear reader, it was immediately on my workout playlist. I've listened to it a lot. Like, probably an embarrassing amount. I love this music video. It is so stylistic, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time because this is probably going to be pretty long. But it is so stylistic. It is so sharply choreographed, both the actual choreography, but also the camera, the style, the production design, the set, the performance, everything really, really combines to this incredible stylized highlight, showcase of their choreography, of their dancing ability, but also their personality. And I think it's important, it's key to understanding this video that RM opens it by saying, first time to BTS? He's saying like, hey, this is about to be who we are. And who we are is extraordinarily talented, incredibly talented, but also just fun. They're not out there to write the world's best song every time. They're not out there to do that. Now, are all their songs good? Yes. I have yet to hear a BTS song that wasn't extraordinarily well written, well produced, well everything. But they're about just like having fun and letting you have fun and trying to give you some energy and just like a burst to your day. And I think that that is the best thing we can do for each other. And I love it. And I love it, and I think the best word to capture this music video is dope. I'm so clever. I think that's really all I have to add. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope my additional thoughts helped contextualize more of this music video for you. I'll be back with 3 more videos very soon. I do have some other stuff I've got to get done today, but hopefully I'll be able to get the others out this week before the album drops. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I really hope I can afford to go to one of their concerts when they do tour the US. We'll see. But until then, please drink lots of water. Please take care of yourselves. Fix your posture. And I'll see you soon. Bye.